Yeah. Shiva, you please go ahead.
So here in the prerequisite part, they are asking to set up the ECR repo, SNS topic, and SQS queue topic. So for this, let us look it into the ECR setup. So
One
anybody?
minute, 1 minute. You have to go through from the first set of lines. So there are prerequisites. Those prerequisites says you set up ECR repository, SNS topic, SQS topic. It means there are some messaging services going on. You need to identify the message headlines. Basically, the message will come with headline, and later you click on the headline, then the detailed message will come. Then SQS queue is there. Okay, simple queue service, a simple notification service, and simple queue service is there. Then you are creating the IAM role and policy document for this kind of services. Okay. Then you are adding the service to uh, Argo CID automation. Basically, these services, whatever you are building it in future, continuous delivery automation purpose, you are doing it. It means you are taking some number of builds, weekly builds or monthly builds, something for deployment purpose, you are automating this process. Then next one is CI/CD pipeline for the service. As obviously, whatever you built in the ECR with SNS SQS services for the application, you are going to do pipeline automation also. You are setting up Helm chart specification for the service. Helm chart is what is coming from private Kubernetes services. You guys need to study that if you are working on Kubernetes areas. Helm chart pulls the data from the pods and the clusters. It analyzes and gives the dashboard reports. Okay. Then setting up required infrastructure for the service. What are the things database you need to set up? And then set up vault configuration. Vault configuration is vault is there for Glacier S3 services. So you can lock that particular files also using Vault. You have to study that from AWS documentation or ask ChatGPT simply what is AWS Vault configuration. Then it will give all the details. Okay. Then deploying, enabling the service. So you have to automate it as a pipeline. When the developer checks the code, it should trigger the deployment after having the testing lifecycle completed. That is the expectation here. Okay. Now, if you see the prerequisites, that is details are given here. What you need to set up in the ECR repository and SNS notification and SQL service. So to store the Docker image produced by CI/CD pipeline, an ECR repository for the service needs to be set up. Currently, ECR is only configured in the dev environment. It means the ECR registry is configured, but they did not configure the images. If you see our past proof of concept projects, you guys worked with EKS and ECS also. When you configure the ECS, you need to configure the ECR. After configuration of the ECR, there is a task. Am I right, Siva?
Sir, yeah.
ECR has got the task. For the task, you are going to attach the image. Let us say you want to build the WordPress site using the Elastic Container Service. What you need to have, you need to have ready-madely made WordPress image in Docker. That image you need to download into ECR registry. There is a process for that, right? That you are going to do in this task. They have set up, they have configured the ECR, but they did not configure the project required things, the assets, the required infrastructure assets. You are going to do that from that, okay? But they're going to give the requirement, what containers, what image you need to build it also in the below document, if you see, okay? Then after that, what you need to do? Yes, so you have to use all these things, ECR repository and 1 minute. Let me increase size. Okay, so you can increase the font size on the corner your document. Okay,
No?
Yeah, little more. I am reading in another laptop actually. Okay, so under ECR repository, you are using first step is open dev TFOs file in the base environments. Uh,
That is the
basically, huh?
repository. That is the repository name which is
Uh,
stored in the ECR.
yes, for ECR, that is the repository name. Then locate ECR repositories variables list in the file and add the service name as an entry. Yes, obviously you are going to do this as a service. Then after that, SNS topics and SQS queues. To create an SNS topic and SQS queue, follow the steps below. Navigate the topics directory in the Eco platform Terraform repository. There is a folder. They are going to give access to these all these through a folder access in the project directory folder. Okay. Create a new file using the service name as the file name and define the SNS topic. Yes. Then similarly, navigate the queues directly and create a new file using the service name as the file name. Inside the file, specify the SQS queue using the service name. Basically, once you set up the SNS topic and SQS services, you're going to put them in a test file or the file, whatever they have given it in the folder. It means locally what you need to set up, they are giving the detailed specifications, including the micro level tasks. Okay. Then note they are giving. These three resources should be created as part of the first pull request because they will be required by data sources in subsequent steps. It means these are the prerequisites you have to understand and set up that initially. Once the PR is approved, it means purchase internally the
Pull
purchase request.
request.
They are you need to merge to the main branch and wait for Terraform apply and command to complete in the base dev workspace. Basically, what you are doing, you are keeping it ready once the change request is approved. It a process request they call PR. Normally, in general, it is a CR. CR means change request. They are using a different terminology. Then you are keeping the environment ready with the Terraform script also by updating that because there is a tvral that is a Terraform file directory file, right? dev.tvars file.
Yeah. Yes. Yes.
That is the Terraform file actually. There you are going to add all these things. Then you are creating the IAM role and policy document. What for? Because you need to have the ECR, ECS operation, then SNS, SQS topics. All
To
these policies need to be there in the IAM role, IAM
mm,
ID. For that, you are creating policy document. So the note is given like the pull request for creating the IAM role and policy must be different from PR used in creating topics and queues above. If the service requires AWS permission, we need to create an IAM policy document and role that will be assumed by the service in the Kubernetes cluster. So basically, for all those things, EKS, ECS purpose, you need to create the policies documents here. And that policies need to be mentioned in the Terraform also. How to create in IAM role. It means you are doing automation for policies creation also. IAM role policies also. You are not touching manually anywhere. They
mm,
wanted everything to be written in ISC code and execute it.
yes.
This are you getting?
Yes.
Okay, okay. Right. Then open the policies file, that is .tf, Terraform file, policies.tf, and in the repository it is there. And within the file, define the IAM policy document to be used. For defining the IAM policy document, there is a code snippet from the Terraform repository. You need to pull the template and write the specifications as per this repository. Am I right? Shiva?
Sir, yes, sir.
Okay. Similarly, when the roles .tf file, if you see IAM role, one is policies you need to define manually if you are working, which
Mm,
policy there in the group. After that, you are going to define the roles. What role you are playing, like admin or S3 admin, EC2 admin, network admin, VPC admin, such kind of things. Okay. So roles you are adding it here using the code snippet itself. Okay. Third point only. Repository and define the IAM role that will be assumed by the service in the Kubernetes cluster, basically. Okay. Once the PR is approved and merged to the main branch, execute the IAM workspace on Terraform Cloud. It means basically once this process is approved, after reviewing the code, everything, you need to execute it. It means you need to run the Terraform file. So after that, it is going to be shown the IAM ID. That ID need to be used for project deployment. CI/CD pipelines for the service. Next one. CI/CD pipeline for the services need to ensure that the proper Docker image is built and basic tests are executed before any merge to main branch. Basically, what happens? You created the IAM ID, everything. Process is done with IAM policies, everything. User ID is there. Now you need to work for the CI/CD pipelines. How it is there? First, you need to create the Docker image. That is the first step. Let us say you have created already, it is there in your Docker hub, the required Docker image. Then you need to download it for ECR. For that purpose, you need to write the IAC code. Code snippets are there. ECR creation, task creation, all that. Okay. Am I right, Shiva?
Sir, yeah.
So now important service specific configurations can be found in these two files. So what type of configurations you need to build it? All specifications are given here. It means you have complete specifications for writing the code snippets. Then when you click it, first link workflows you click Shiva.
This one can't find link.
Is it showing anything?
This is page not found error.
Okay, I think that link is disabled. They're showing the skeleton part. Okay,
Yeah, just
maybe.
for show.
Yeah, it is not the even it is here also it is showing 404 for all the links. Okay, the process you need to understand how they have designed it. Okay, then next one is deploy images for the test environment. Setup tab test is required to deploy images for the production environment. Prod is required. Basically, you are going to give the tags while creating these images.
Yes.
For those things. Okay. Then set up Helm chart specification for the service to provide instructions on setting up the Helm chart specification for the service. Helm is used as the package manager for our services. Each service should have a Helm chart. It means whatever services you design here for their setup, all those are going to be registered in the Helm chart. Okay. There is a generic library defined common steps, which is the same for all microservices. Can be found in Tico services repository. I don't know if I test 404 error is gone. Yes, same error. All links are disabled.
Yes.
They have explained it. Okay. So service specific setup specifications for the microservice like DNS environment variables and paths should be set for each environment. So here is an example service. They're creating it. Okay. Here, developers should support in setting up the values for the Helm chart, especially for required environment variables specific to the service. Important Helm chart values for file snippets is this one. Basically, what they are doing in the Helm chart, they're creating
Specification for the microservice, like variable
yeah,
environment.
specification microservices basically. Okay. Then
This is
after that,
the service.
yes, you roll down.
So
This is the specification for setting up the Helm chart basically. We don't need to worry right now.
So the development team will give these details, right?
Yes, yes, they are going to give developers. They are going to give.
So,
Now, if you come down, what is the database? Postgres database they are using.
so this is the environment variables.
Pardon?
Yeah, from this, right? Credentials and
Yeah, that is IAM credentials. You are supplying it. It comes
okay.
under Terraform
Next,
provider.
this is database.
Yes, now database. If you see database in Postgres database, they are using it. Okay, then they are giving the database details from the Terraform file, variables file. Even that will not work now. It is 404 error. All links are disabled. It is magical. Just simply they have given the links, I think. Okay. Now, set up vault configuration. Okay. Vault configuration, what it is doing it here. You can see they're also giving access. I am ID access for basically. This is the code snippet kind of thing.
These are our configuration like access
Yes.
secret key endpoint.
Yes. Right. So come down. Now deploying, enabling, and enabling the service. So basically, what happens? You have done all the setup related code so far with code snippets, Terraform code snippets in different files. Now you are deploying that code files to run it. One is infrastructure execution. Then later on, you are creating the application services. Okay. Then later on, you are executing a code on Helm chart to register these things into the Helm dashboards. Okay. So deploying, enabling that you are creating, navigating to the clusters, and you are creating the manifest files. You are also updating the Kubernetes customization areas. They are using GitHub tool basically. Okay. Once the code is committed to the main branch of repository, the deployment process will be triggered. Yes, obviously, if developer clicks check in the code, then it is going to work all these things automatically. Continuous deployment will happen. Okay, that's all this project requirement or specification. This is the way you find it like projects also. Now let us stop the recording.